मास्टर्स करके PhD करके
Hare Krishna. Let's do the Mangla Charan and then we will start today's session. Ajnana-timirandasya Jnana-jana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Madhamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathavitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kancha Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschate Deshitarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for being here, and happy Diwali to everyone to start with. And considering it's a Diwali, I think there might be less devotees joining because a lot of services are available. But we thought we will have a session anyways because the session gets recorded. So we will not have a break. Right. And welcome to our friend Santosh Bhatt. Santosh Bhattji, namaskar. Welcome. And Hare Krishna. So what we're going to do, we have been doing, we are doing 18 chapters in 18 sessions. And today is the 5th session. So we're going to do chapter 5 today. And chapter 5 is a bit smaller compared to the previous chapters we have done. So here we go. Chapter 1 and chapter 2, we have revised it before. So we will just carry on. Chapter 3 was on Karma Yoga. And the main thing there was Nishkam Karma Yoga. And we will do Nishkam Karma Yoga more in chapter 5 as well. So karma, so we have 3 different types of karmas. We have vikarma, when we have some bad intentions. Then we have karma, normal, or sometimes we call it sa-karma. That karma where we do something, but with the hope we're going to get something back, right? We do the good. We go to the temple. We do all the prayers. We do all the pujas. We do the yajna. But we would like to have something back. Like in long back, what used to happen? A lot of kings, they used to do the yajna to get a son, right? So that will come into sa-karma. And then we have what Krishna recommends in chapter 3, that we should do Nishkam Karma Yoga, NKY, which means when we do something, we don't expect anything back. And that's the best example is when the parents do things for the kids, they don't expect anything in back, right? They should not. Sometimes these days they might expect that, okay, my kids will grow up and maybe when we are old, they will look after us. But we should not expect that. And that's the karma, which is called Nishkam Karma Yoga, Krishna says that's the best and that's the easiest way. And we will see that. In chapter 4, then Krishna explains what we call transcendental knowledge, Jnana. So chapter 3 was karma, chapter 4, Jnana. And now the Jnana of what? Then Krishna explains the Jnana of the body, which is Sankhya Yoga, or Jnana of the soul, which is Atma Jnana. And then we refer back to chapter 2 when a lot of characteristics of soul is given. Right? But again, Krishna explains when you do everything with me in your mind, and that's why we call it Krishna consciousness. It's all about the consciousness. So when we do something, we keep Krishna in mind. And that's why it's called Krishna consciousness. Right. Now, starting chapter 5. Chapter 5, the very first thing, and let's go here. Chapter 5, okay. So this is what the main points we could think in chapter 5. The very first thing Arjun will ask from Krishna, that chapter 3 you said karma, chapter 4 you said knowledge. So should I go for karma or should I go for jnana? Which one should I go for out of these two? And then Krishna will explain, then we need to do the karma. And how do we need to do the karma? And why do we need to do the karma? Then Krishna will explain that. Then again, we do the karma, but while we're doing the karma, where is our consciousness? That is the main thing. Not, and there are many good analogies there which we will discuss. And then Krishna explains that it's about the karma, but later on, the knowledge, if you have the knowledge given, which is from chapter 4, Krishna says, if you do your karma with that knowledge, that is the title of chapter 5, which is Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. So we are supposed to do karma, but we need to have that knowledge with us. So chapter 3 and chapter 4 will combine here. Right? And if you take a step back, in Bhagavad Gītā, we have 18 chapters. If we split 18 into 3, first 6 chapters, Karma Yoga, chapter 7 to chapter 12, devotional, Bhakti Yoga, and then from chapter 13 to chapter 18, that's Jnana Yoga. So we are here doing Karma Yoga. Now, chapter 6 is left, which we will do next weekend. Chapter 6 is more on Ashtanga Yoga, and we will see a very brief introduction of Ashtanga Yoga today. But next week, we will see that in detail because chapter 6 is on that. So if you think about it, chapter 5 is the summary of the very first part of it, which is Karma Yoga. And that's what Krishna is saying. Chapter 3 and chapter 4, if you put together, you have chapter 5, which is Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. And this teaches that how we need to do what we need to do. Right? And then Krishna is saying, if we have that knowledge, then it's like illuminating sun, right? And all the darkness will go. And what other day could be best to discuss this than today, where we have Lord Rama coming back and everybody lit the diya. So the darkness of ignorance will go away. Then we have the second last, focus on supreme to refine our vision. And that's another bit we will see today. We have touched it before, called Paramatma. So each one of us has Atma, but we need to think of what is Paramatma, right? And then right at the end, summarizing everything, if we follow that, if we do all our karmas with that knowledge in mind, with Krishna consciousness, then we will be happy. Remember, what's the point of doing all that? So we will make wise decision, so we will always be happy, right? Now moving forward. Hare Krishna. Yes. Hare. Yes, please, Mataji.
Knowledge that is described here in chapter 5, is it related to what he's going to say in the later chapters, in the last 6 chapters?
Yes. Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Connect.
That's right. Yeah. So it's a Jnana Yoga. So we have Karma Yoga, we have Jnana Yoga, but Jnana Yoga is going to get detailed description in the last 6 chapters as well.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. That's right. Thank you, Mataji, for that. So, we can see here. Now, feel free. as Mataji said it, any comments you have, any question you have, we don't have to wait until end. Just ask. It's great to have discussions going, right? So first 6 verses, Karma Yoga is better. So Arjun asks, what is better, Karma or Jnana? And Krishna will clarify that it's Karma. And then what kind of Karma? How to do Karma? That's Nishkam Karma Yoga from 7 to 16. And then going forward, once we have reached to that point where we are doing Nishkam Karma Yoga, what kind of vision that person will have. Now, whenever we do something, if we are doing the engineering, we will say, okay, if we will do engineering, we complete engineering, what then? So before we'll start engineering, we will think, what are the prospects? If the prospects are good, let's do it. So Krishna is saying, you do Nishkam Karma Yoga, and Arjuna asks, but what will happen if I will get to that level? Then Krishna explains from verse 17 to 26, then you will able to see much better, right? And then the vision we have, and that's the description there. And then what explains here, this is the brief introduction of Ashtanga Yoga, chapter verse 27, 28, but chapter 6 is detailed on Ashtanga Yoga. And then the last verse is for the peace formula, how to keep ourselves happy and how Krishna consciousness is going to keep happy. Okay, let me increase that up a bit. So this is the very first one, right? So Krishna has explained chapter 3 and chapter 4. Chapter 5, Arjun is not clear. Arjun is a bit confused. So Arjun is saying, please let me know chapter 3 is better or chapter 4 is better. Karma Yoga is better or Jnana Yoga is better. The personality of God had replied, now Krishna is giving the answer. The renunciation of work, which is Jnana, and work in devotion, which is Bhakti or Karma Yoga, are both good for liberation. So Krishna is saying they both are good. So Krishna has never said that Jnana Yoga should be overruled, like we should not do Jnana Yoga. No, Krishna accepts the very first thing, they both are good. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. So Krishna says both are authentic marks, but devotional service is the easiest and that is better. So we should always remember that. Now, why? And that's where we get further. It says, one who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities. Now we know the term for it. This is called Nishkam Karma Yoga, right? Remember, no negativity, no positivity. So we are not doing the action expecting anything back. One who neither hates nor desires the fruit of his activities is known to be always renounced. Now, whenever we think of renunciation, we think somebody will go in the mountains, in the forest, will leave everything, will become a brahmachari, will become a sannyasi. But what Krishna is giving a new definition here. Well, actually, Krishna is giving the true definition of renunciation. Renunciation never meant, in our Shastras, if we read Upanishads and Puranas, renunciation doesn't mean that we leave everything and we go in solitude. No, renunciation means that we detach ourselves. So we don't want to be attached with everything. And we have so many examples. Example of Bharat Maharaj. He was a king. And at a point, when he reached to the point, he decided, okay, I'm going to go in the jungle. I'm going to do the meditation because I understood. I've enjoyed my life a lot. He was a big king. I mean, we can think there was a time, and even now, India is known by his name, Bharat. So he was the main king at that time. However, he decided to leave everything. He went to the jungle, and then he was so many years, he focused and concentrated on his meditation. But right at the end, he got attached to a deer. And then what? He could not, when he left the body, he was thinking about that deer. Now he left his whole kingdom, his whole family. But then somebody will think, oh, he got detached. Well, he did get detached. But right at the end, he got attached to that deer. And this is what we need to think of. that we don't want to get attached to anyone. However, that doesn't mean that we will leave our responsibilities. No, never. Because what Krishna is saying, karma yoga in action in Krishna consciousness. So if we will do that, then what will happen? What will be the outcome? We will not. If somebody will come and say anything bad to us or something bad will happen to us, we understand as devotees, this is the fruit of our past karma. So there is no need to hate anyone. There is no need to get angry on anyone. And the same thing, if we don't desire, then when things will not go right, there is no, devotees will always be happy. There is no reason to be unhappy. And then there is a mention of yoga, yukta. And in this picture, we can see how we could be Krishna conscious, doing anything and everything, right? You see, when we are there in the temple or we are there in our house at the front of the altar and we are praying to Krishna, what are we doing? We are directly connected to Krishna. But what if we are cleaning our house? So on the occasion of Diwali, a lot of people clean their houses. How we could be Krishna consciousness while cleaning? What if we will think we are cleaning it? So Krishna will arrive there. The devotees of Krishna will come to our house, right? If we think like that, then we will think our house is the temple. We are going to welcome Krishna in it, right? Then that task we are doing, that cleaning we're doing will become Krishna consciousness because we are thinking about Krishna while doing that. We have associated that together. Same thing when a mother is cooking in the kitchen. Mother is cooking for the family, but mother is keeping Krishna in mind. That very first thing, I need to make it an offering to Krishna. Then that food will become prasad. However, if you say, oh, wow, today is a Diwali, we're going to enjoy so many different things, then we are thinking of sense gratification. But when we will think, today is such a nice day, let's make a great offering to Krishna. Of course, we will get that as a prasad anyways. And that's what we say, we do it for Krishna, and all the material opulences we have, we get it as a byproduct. We don't need to work on it. We get it ourselves, right? So far what we have discussed, any question on that? Anything anyone has in mind that how can I make this as Krishna conscious?
Prabhuji,
Hari Bol Mataji, yes.
sometimes when do certain activities, let's say being a housewife, you have to do like ironing or other things. But in that, we think that we are doing ironing, but then you think that you are doing it. It's how to bring Krishna in that, like simple things like ironing.
Hari Bol. Very nice, Mataji. There are two ways. First of all, while we're doing the ironing, we can listen to Krishna Katha, Krishna Bhajan, Krishna stories. That's the very first thing. Whatever we're doing, if we cannot associate directly,
Yes.
then the very first thing, we can always have something going on, which is always, and these days we are doing virtual yatras of Vrindavan, being the Kartik, because in Kartik, a lot of devotees, they visit Vrindavan, but we could not visit Vrindavan. So online, a lot of kathas are there. So while ironing, we are there in Braj because our consciousness is there. That's one of the easiest thing to do. We can listen, we can watch, we can hear while doing the ironing or any such thing. The second thing, if we are not hearing and whatever we are doing it, for example, if I'm doing this kurta, the one I'm wearing, then I will think I'm going to do this. Why? Because I'm going to wear it, because I'm going to do the service of chapter 5 today. Right? And if I'm going to go to the office, then I'm ironing my shirt. However, lucky enough, we are working from home these days. But when we are going to office, we think, well, may Krishna bless me, give me the mercy. So whatever work I will do in office will be of the pure perfection and integrity. So while I'm doing the ironing, I'm seeking blessings from Krishna. Krishna, I'm going to do this task of going to the office, working for this company. Could you please bless me that whatever I will do with a full integrity, the best of my ability, I will be able to do it. So when I will able to serve that, then I will never think, oh, I have done it. Because I remembered that I seek the blessings of Krishna even before I did it.
Yes.
So this way, we can bring anything and everything in Krishna's service.
Yes. Thanks for explanation.
There you go. It's certainly it's not a very easy thing to do, but with practice and with the association of devotees, our mentality changes. Right? It's like I always say, if in the college somebody wants to drink, very rare one student will go, okay, I will go and drink. They usually look for the association. Okay, who else is going to go and drink? Who else will like to go to the movie with me? So the same thing happens in a spiritual world. We seek the association. Okay, Diwali is coming. Let me pick a call and check what other devotees are doing. So this way we always keep ourselves in association of Krishna consciousness. Hari. Great. So thank you so much, Mataji. When you ask the questions, it really gives us the opportunity to reflect back the theory we are doing, how we can implement in practical life and day-to-day life.
You explain it in a very simple terms, easy to understand. So that's
Hari
what we
Bol.
really appreciate it. Yes.
Thank you
Thank
so much, Mataji. I'm learning from Srila Prabhupada ji because he had such a different audience and the way he explained it. So it's a living example for us through his books. So thank you so much. Hari Hari Bol. Right. Okay. So Yukta Vairagya, and what Krishna is saying here about Yukta Vairagya, we have two things going on. One is Yukta Vairagya, one is Falgu Vairagya. Now, Yukta Vairagya, we might able to understand where our mind is with Krishna. Falgu Vairagya, and let me find a slide. Yes. So, Yukta Vairagya on the left, Falgu Vairagya on the right. So, what's the difference between these? The difference is that maybe, and we did this in chapter 4 as well. We called it action in inaction and inaction in action. It's a very confusing term. But if we think about it, what are we saying? That maybe somebody who is sitting there in the jungle, and you, if you are going across, you will see, wow, look at him. And this is what happens a lot of time. We might see Kumbh is going to happen in 2021. We see somebody and we will say, wow, Naga Baba is there. Oh, they are so meditative. And we will take the blessings, which is one of the best thing to do if we see any highly elevated saint. However, just from the outer dress, that doesn't mean that the consciousness is always with Krishna. And the same thing, if we take other way around, somebody who might be the king, somebody who might be in the Ferrari or maybe on the iPhone, the latest one, and you will think, oh, this guy, he's in material life. Look at him, such a nice clothes he's wearing, such a nice car he's driving, such an expensive mobile he's using. But what if that person is driving the car, and this is what happened in London as well, that Krishna, when the Rath Yatra happened, that happened in a Ferrari, and the Ferrari belonged to the devotee. So devotee offered his Ferrari to Krishna. So his material opulences became Krishna consciousness. Same thing on the iPhone, somebody is taking pictures of Krishna or joining WhatsApp group, joining the classes, then material thing becomes Krishna consciousness. So what we are saying is that our external dress might not reveal what we are exactly doing. Another analogy we can understand, and I remember now I use it a lot, but very first time I did it with the children. Now imagine there's a doctor and a patient gets in the hospital, and doctors say, oh, we need to do the operation, let's get in. And on the patient is there, and the doctor will take the knife and open the stomach. And unfortunately, that patient dies because not all the operations are successful. If that patient dies, anybody is going to blame that doctor? No, because doctor did his best to save. But he put the knife in the stomach and the patient died. Now imagine another example where somebody is going from the jungle and a dacoit comes, a thief comes, a bad boy comes, and he says, okay, he shows the knife and says, give me all your money, otherwise I will kill you. And the guy says, okay, I don't want to give you money, or I don't have money. And this guy, this bad guy, he puts the knife in the tummy, opens the tummy, and the guy dies. Now, if you think about it, in both examples, the same thing happened. The action is same. That the person, the doctor, the thief, put the knife in the tummy and the tummy opens and both the people die. The patient dies, the other person dies. Yes, Shivani?
Um, it's just that basically the same thing is happening, that both of them put the knife in the stomach, but the only thing is that the doctor's intention was good, but the thief's intention was bad.
Haribo, thank you so much. Certainly, Shivani comes to our children's class, so she knows it. That it's all about the consciousness. It's all about the intentions we have rather than the work we do. So we can do whatever we want. Now, maybe two people go to the temple, and one is a devotee who is just taking the darshan and saying thank you to Krishna. And the other devotee is there who is still progressing, and he might say, Krishna, I've just put that factory together. Could you please help it to run? And whatever money I will get, I will give you some percentage also. But could you please help? Like I will take maybe 99% for me and I will give 1% to you. And people do these kind of trades. And not to go anywhere else, I don't know about you, but I was one of those as well. Even though I've never put any factory, but we come from the custom where we always ask not only the blessings, but only later we realize that Krishna has already given us so much. So there is no need to ask for anything. It's like children. Children, they don't need to ask kids, their parents. Parents, they have already given and they will even give more because parents know best for their children. Even the children might not know. But yes, children might get impatient and start asking things like what we ask from Krishna. So there is no need to ask. Haribo. So that's the next point about Yukta Vairagya and Falgu Vairagya. Yukta is truly conscious of Krishna. And if that's Vairagya is the detachment, that's the renouncement. And this is what Krishna is saying, that we should do our work like this. We should not be attached. When we go to the office, we should not think that we are doing it for the promotion. We are doing it because we are supposed to do it. Because Krishna has given us this ability to perform this task. Falgu, where from the external point of view, everybody will think we will put kurta, put a tilak, and might have the chant bead. From the outside, we'll look like that we are a devotee, but inside we are still thinking about cricket match, Bollywood movie coming out, and many more other things. So that's called Falgu Vairagya. And there are many examples in the Shastras for that as well. Yes, Shivani, please. Okay, sorry, Shivani, you are on. Okay, let me unmute you.
Yeah, it's basically like that you're pretending to be a very nice devotee, and then everybody will say that, oh wow, she's a very nice devotee, and then you'll say, yeah, I'm a very nice devotee, but actually, like say you're thinking, oh, I want to go home and I want to watch something like that.
Yes, true, that happens, and we take pride, don't we? We really get happy when people say, oh, you are a nice devotee. Very nice, thank you. But we know what we are. But what Krishna is saying, that we should be like a lotus leaf, one who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results onto the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by the sinful action, as the lotus leaf is untouched by water. And this is what Krishna said to Arjun as well. Arjun was supposed to fight, and Arjun did fight, but Arjun initially thought that I will get the sins of killing all these people. But Krishna said, of course, you will get the sin if you will think you are fighting because of your own need. If you are going to fight because you want to become the king, then yes, you will get the sins because you are going to do it for your sense gratification. But if you are going to do it because you are a Kshatriya, because you would like to establish dharma in the society, because the other party, even though they are your cousins, they are adharmi, because they are not following the religion. If you do that, then it's not going to be sin. And that's what we have seen. Arjun fought and he became, right at the end, he said, I didn't do anything. It all happened because of Krishna, right? He did it as a service to the Lord. And this is what we have discussed. When a soldier is there, soldier fights for the country. And if he kill many, he gets a gold medal because he's doing for the country. He has surrendered to the country. But when he comes on back on holiday, even if he will give a slap to someone, then police going to catch him because then he's doing it for himself. So we are not supposed to do it for ourselves. We are supposed to do it for Krishna, right? And this next point is very important. And once we understand, it's so nice. My son Aryan reminded me of this morning when we were in the kitchen. Either I said, you are doing it, or I said, I'm doing it. And he said, no, 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 no. Neither you doing nor I'm doing, because there are three doers. And I said, you reminded me well, because today we are going to do chapter 5 and we are going to do that. And this is the slide where we say there are three doers. Now, we need to understand this very nicely, that who is doing it. And I always do the exercise when we have more time. Of course, what we're doing here is a very crash course, a chapter in an hour. But if I will request one of you to raise your hand, and you will raise your hand, then I will say, who did that? Yes, who raised? You will say, I did it. I say, which part of your body? You say, I. These eyes are you, this nose you, this head you, brain you, mind you. Which part of you is you? Yes, Shivani?
Your soul is you.
Okay, so Shivani says the soul is you. Now, what do we say? If you see this picture, what's happening in this picture? So on the left-hand side bottom, that's us. And that's, as Shivani said, that's the soul, right? And then soul is the one which desires, right? And then that desires goes to Krishna. And Krishna sentiences. And Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gītā, that whoever requests, I fulfill the requirement, right? And then Krishna sentience in. But then who is the actual doer? Not the soul. Soul doesn't do anything. Soul only desires. Now, another example we can understand. For example, we have Shivani, who is 8 years old. We have Aryan, who is 11 years old, right? And I am here as a father. So Shivani says, I want to have chocolate because Shivani loves chocolate. So Shivani desires, right? But then as a father, I will have to say, okay, you can have chocolate. Or maybe one day I will say, you had a lot of chocolate today, please don't have chocolate. So as a father, I'm going to sanction it that, okay, you can have it, or okay, it's not okay for you to have it. But then maybe I will say, okay, you can have it, but I'm not the one who is going to buy for it. If we are there in the shopping, maybe in Morrison or Mark and Spencer, I will request, okay, Aryan, could you go with Shivani and ask Shivani which one she wants, and you bring the chocolate which Shivani wants. So Aryan will actually bring that chocolate. So if you think about it, who got the chocolate? Who bought the chocolate? Was it Shivani? Yes, because Shivani desired. If Shivani didn't desire, there was no chocolate. But you can say father, because if father had said no, then there was no chocolate at the end. But then you would think, who did it? Shivani did not know which chocolate is good, which chocolate is not good, or which chocolate she needed. It was Aryan who actually brought the chocolate. So who was the doer? All three are the doers, but each doer has a responsibility. Now, I think we can understand ourselves and Krishna. But to understand three modes of material nature is hard. Now, what are three modes of material nature? The way we understand, we have goodness, passion, and ignorance. Now you might have remembered that again in later chapters we will see that anything and everything we do, they are in these three modes of nature. So the way we speak, the way we think, the way we read, what we read, how we eat, how we walk, how we speak, everything could be in mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. So and these modes, they are material modes. They come from Durga Ma. They come from Maya Devi. They are the same people. And Maya Devi is the devotee of Krishna. Right. So the soul desires, but these material mode, this body is material. So within the body, because of the body, the soul gets bewildered. And this is the point which is a bit tricky to understand. So we will try to get a bit more in it, but we will see what happens in this chapter further. But always remember this, that there are three doers. We as a soul, we desire. And then Krishna sentience. Without Krishna sentience, nothing can happen. But we will have to desire for it. We have to desire we would like to go to the temple, or we will have to go to the pub. It will be our desire. But then who is going to do? Who is going to go and do the service in the temple? This body, right? Who is going to drink? Not the soul, the body. And the body is material. And the body is the one where what we say is doing the work. So the soul is a spiritual who desires. The body is material who actually does the work. But Krishna is there who sentience. So these three are involved anything we do. And this could be a bit tricky to understand. Okay, before we go any further, let's do a quick quiz. And I will launch the quiz now. And I'm going to go quiet so you could read and focus. Okay, just few more seconds, maybe.
So, Prabhuji,
Yes, please, Mataji.
so the three doers,
Yes.
are they all the soul, Krishna, and the Yogmaya? Are they all doers? Even the soul is desiring.
Yes, they all are the doers.
Okay.
Yes.
So soul, Krishna can be considered as a super soul in that way or no?
Krishna could be considered as super soul. Yes.
Yeah.
We can say the way we say that Krishna knows everything, because Krishna as a super soul is there in the heart of every living entity.
Yeah.
So yes.
So all three are desires. Okay.
All three. Yes. Okay, great. And as always, I will share the link where all these questions are there and the answers are also there. But I think most of you got the answers. Okay, I will close it now. Right. So moving forward, what we have seen. Okay, I hope there wasn't any challenging question there. But what we see when we said that now we understood that we need to do, doesn't matter how we look. However, it's good if we will keep ourselves clean, our body. But better than cleaning the body, it's more important to clean our consciousness. So if we have a choice, then we should work on our consciousness. However, we should keep the body and the consciousness clean. Is the example we saw before. There's a parrot in a golden cage. And we take care of the cage, but we don't feed the parrot. The parrot will die. The parrot is the soul, the spiritual soul, and the body is the cage. Now, these days we look after the body, which is the cage, but we don't feed the soul. And because soul is the spiritual, we have to feed spiritual. So that's why even on Diwali day, I was not ready to cancel that class, even if there will be only few devotees. Why? Because what are we going to do to celebrate Diwali? Most of the time, it's going to be material, right? I remember my childhood, we will buy new clothes, a lot of crackers, lot of sweets, right? And I'm wondering now that yes, by the end of the day, we will do a lot of prayers, puja, but the whole day we will meditate on these new things, or new clothes, or when are we going to go and go to others' houses to sell, to give away the presents, or when they are going to come to our house to give the presents. And all this is material. All this is like taking care of the golden cage, taking care of the body. Do we spend time thinking about the consciousness, right? And so this is what Krishna said, that we should work on our consciousness. Our intentions should be pure, should be Krishna consciousness, right? And then once we will reach to that point, what will happen then? That's the second level. The first level is when we realize we are soul, we are not this body. However, that doesn't mean that we will not take care of our body. We will take care of the body, because body is the vehicle. If the body is not there, where the soul is going to be? Soul is inside the body. So body is important, but soul is much, much more important than the body, right? The second thing, once we realize we are the soul, or the way we can call, we are the Brahman. The second realization is we are soul, but there is another soul which is even supreme, and that's called super soul, and also in Hindi called Paramatma. Atma, Paramatma, soul, super soul. And the second level will be when we will see that not only we are soul, not only that Paramatma is in me, Paramatma is in everyone. And that's called equal vision, right? And that's where it says the humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge. And this is what Krishna is saying. This knowledge is like that illuminating sun. If the sun is there, the darkness will go. We say this is day, this is not night. How do we say? Which point do we say it's day? We don't say because it's 7 o'clock, it's day. We say sun is out, the darkness is gone. And that's how, when we say the knowledge, what kind of knowledge? Knowledge is not that we know that somebody said, I can guess the lottery number. That's not the knowledge we are looking for. We are looking for the Vedic knowledge, which will give us what we are looking for, Satya Chitta Ananda. And that's what Krishna is saying, equal vision. Once we will realize, now if you think about most of the problems we have in life is because we have jealousy, we have greed, we have enviness, right? There are 8 of those, but the main thing is the jealousy, the enviness. Either we want more greed, or we get unhappy if somebody else got it. Somebody else got promotion. Why I didn't get promotion, right? Somebody else got a bigger car than me. Or look at the clothes he's wearing. The whole life we keep doing it. But what Krishna is saying, we will able to see not only Krishna is within me, Krishna is with everyone. And the example is given, with a true knowledge, see. Who sees? The sages. So we can become sage. It's not that we have to change the clothes, we have to go to the mountain or the forest or anywhere. No, we will become sage when we will able to see Krishna in everyone. And there are many examples. Dhruv Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, King Janak, right? And Bharat Maharaj later on when he became Jad Bharat. These are the examples. And in the Shastras, there are many more. There's these kings. They were kings. They were still doing all their prescribed duties, but they were liberated souls. So the humble sages, by the virtue of knowledge, true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmin, a cow, elephant, and a dog eater. Now a Brahmin and a dog eater. See the transition. Animals are in between. Cow is very holy animal. And then we have elephant. So the animals are also inclusive. But if we see Chandal, the dog eater, the Chandal, and then a Brahmin. Can you compare these two? These are the two extreme we can have in a society. One is outcast and one is the top of the caste. But what Krishna is saying, a sage will see both of them equal. Both of them equal. Now at this point, I always ask a question. Let's say there are four. Let me know if I have asked this before. But if there are four saints going, four monks, they are going in a forest and bad boys will come and capture them. And there is a leader. So there is a leader and there is a second monk who is very old. He's going to die very soon. And there is third one who is very new. He doesn't know much. And there is fourth one who is in between. He's not very new. He's not very old. He's very effective, very useful. So the bad boys, they will say, okay, who is the leader? Leader will say, I'm the leader. And say, okay, I can understand one is new, one is very old, and one is very effective. I will kill one of you. Which one shall I kill? So what do you think leader will say? Which one leader will ask that, okay, you can kill this one? Anyone would like to volunteer? If you are the leader and you have three monks who are your responsibility, one is very wise, one is very old, not very useful, and one is very new, not useful at the moment, but the future is bright. Whom will you think? Out of four, because obviously you can offer yourself. I tell you, most of the people, they say because of the compassion. Yes, Mataji.
Offer yourself
Yes.
rather than anybody else.
True. Most of the time people say that out of compassion, then, and Buddhists also have similar story. And they say because of the compassion, they say that I offer myself. Okay. So Mataji said the same thing. Kana said the same thing. I will offer myself. But if we see this shloka, this verse, the leader says that doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter, because Krishna is there in the old person, Krishna is there in the young one, Krishna is there in the effective, Krishna is there in me. So doesn't really matter, because that person doesn't see the body. That because who is old? Who is old? And I have fun with my kids sometimes when they say, oh, you are old. I say, well, I am old, but the problem is I don't remember how old I am. He said, come on, you know you are going to be 40. I say, yeah, but I'm talking about my soul, not about this body. I'm talking about my soul. I don't know how old my soul is. It could be that your body is 8 years old, but your soul is older than me. I don't know. But when we reach to that vision, when we start looking beyond the bodies, and that's why when Prabhupada Ji went there in Western world, he did not see white people. He did not see the people who are drug addict or having the bad habits, because he realized that these people, they are there in the material mode, but the soul is Krishna consciousness, right? And if we able to see this, we will not see the difference in our children and our neighbors' children. And that's the reason we will always be happy. We will never have any greed, because even if our friend will get something, we know that we are also the servant of Krishna and this person is also the servant of Krishna. Maybe one realize and other person will not realize. So that's the equal vision. I can say that it's possible. I'm not saying that I'm there yet, but I've seen many others, Guru Maharaj, spiritual, highlighted, enlightened people, they are there and they can reach to that. And we can reach to that. Again, we don't need to leave everything, but we could. Now, how How can we reach there? If we see, there's a progression going on there. We have seen Nishkam Karma Yoga. We should do things and we should not expect anything back. If we will do that, then we will become very happy, right? But whoa, and the vision will get very wise, because we have the true knowledge. But how to do this? Now it says sense enjoyment. Please avoid. Like whatever, if you're working, if you see this person in the slide is working and he's thinking, oh, I will work, I will make money, I will have so much money, or maybe I will become the best in the team, I will get the cup, or maybe I will get married to the most beautiful girl and I will have everything in the world. I don't need anything. But when we get all these things, then we realize that these things, they do provide happiness, but temporary. It's like eating rasgulla, a sweet, right? Any sweet we like, we eat one, we eat two, we eat three. More and more we have, we start losing the taste. Well, if the taste was there in the rasgulla, if the taste was there in the delicious sweet, then why didn't we get, when we eat the 10th, the taste is still there? Why? Because the taste is not there in the rasgulla. Taste there in the senses, not in the sense object, in the senses. There is a girl, one boy will look. There is another analogy, if you think about it, that there is a young girl coming, right? A man will say, wow, she could be my wife. And that young girl's child will say, wow, she's my mother, she's going to feed me. And if a hungry tiger is there, hungry tiger will look at that beautiful girl and will say, wow, that's going to be a delicious lunch today. Now it's the same young, beautiful girl. So the sense object is the same. Now that could be a movie, that could be a temple. So it's the senses of the person and they all are material. If we can go beyond that material vision, material senses, we can see the true nature of soul, which is Krishna consciousness, which is in Satyachit Anand. But how to do that? So one way, like the Buddhists say, and many other religions, they say that control yourself. Control yourself. You control, don't do these things, do these things, you will be good. But in Krishna consciousness, we don't say control yourself. We say engage yourself, right? So if a child is there, you will say, child, don't do these things. Stay still. How long that child will be still? Not for long. But what if you will say to that child, okay, come, rather than doing mischievous things there, breaking the windows in the house, how about you and me, we will play this game. And while playing the game, and that game could be a chess game, that game could be a board game, that game could be cards game, where the child is going to stay still. So see, if you will ask someone to control the senses, it will be hard. If you will ask somebody to engage the senses, then the person will able to engage very nicely. And then we are going away. For example, if I like reading books, I used to read novels, but now I read Krishna conscious books. Right? I like discussing things. Initially, I used to discuss a lot of scientific things. Now I discuss Krishna conscious philosophy. So rather than leaving and everything, people like eating food. When you like eating food, you eat vegetarian Krishna prasad now. Offer it to Krishna and then have it, anything and everything. At my home, I'm so lucky to have a wife who make lasagna, pizza, everything at home. Offer it to Krishna and then kids enjoy that as prasad. And we all enjoy and we call our friends as well. Such a best thing to do. So rather than enjoying the senses, if we engage the senses in not where the temporary pleasure is, but where Satyachit Anand is. Otherwise, doesn't matter how much time, how much. There are many examples where people have spent. If you might not heard of Yayati, a king. He was given he lived a long life, and even after many years, he was given a curse that he will become old, very old. And then he went to the sage and he said, so sorry, you gave me the curse. I want to get my youth back because I have not enjoyed enough. And then his son, so the sage said, okay, no worries. Go and find anyone who can exchange his youth with your old age. And he said, okay. He went to all his children. His young child, young son said, okay, I'm ready. Others said, no, what are you saying? I don't want old age in my youth. The youngest son said, okay, I'm happy to exchange. And then he exchanged. It went through long time. He enjoyed it again. And at the end, he said, I can tell you, doesn't matter how many years you enjoy, you cannot enjoy enough. If you think your sense gratification will go because you have enjoyed a lot, it will never happen. Never, ever happen. So we have to. So this says you have to tolerate. Okay. So Mataji has asked the question, and this is the last one, which is on the peace. And so Mataji, let's do this verse, then we will discuss action in action. This verse is which it says vote for peace. Like, why are we doing all that? What's the point of it? Today is Diwali and we are here Saturday morning 10 to 11. Why? So we will get peace. We will get happiness. Not the temporary, but Satya Chitta Anand. And there are many examples of that. But what Krishna says here, Bhoktayam yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shanti prachate. So a person in full consciousness of me, and from there the word comes Krishna conscious. Why Srila Prabhupada ji made International Society of Krishna Consciousness. A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifice and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. So if we understand that we cannot, whatever we get, we don't get it just because of our efforts. We need to do efforts, but we get it because Krishna is willing to give it to us. Then we will be happy. Right? We will not get into material miseries. Because again, whatever actions we have done in the past, we will have to face. We will have to face the results of them. But we will not make in future any bad actions. Why? Because we are not going to puffed up with the false ego that I am doing it. If somebody is going to praise me, I will say Krishna has given me this, and because of that, I was able to do that. And that's it. We will not get like Arjun. Arjun killed so many people, but Arjun didn't get the sin. Why? Because he was doing it for Krishna. He was doing it to establish the religion. He, like the soldier, fighting with everyone. Why? For the country, not for himself. So he's not going to get any sin. Never. Because not doing it for personal. So whenever we do something, if we do it for Krishna, then we will not get any actions for it. Hare Krishna. Now, Mataji asked the question that action in inaction and inaction in action. What does that mean? That means that we might see someone, and it happens a lot. When we go to the temple, before lockdown, every Sunday we used to go to the temple in North London. And it could be that we will see a devotee. And there is actually a devotee, Prayojan Prabhuji, and he's very active, very, 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 very active. And I said once I saw him and I said, Prabhuji, so glad that that's the very first time I've seen you sitting down and taking prasadam. And that was not with us. He was sitting somewhere around. Otherwise, he is always cleaning the temple. And he was very humble. He said, I need to clean my own heart. And that's why I keep cleaning the temple. So I will get purified. But a lot of time when we see people doing things, we think, oh, they are great because they are doing it, right? For example, if I'm doing this session, you might think, oh, I'm very good, right? I'm always in Krishna consciousness. So this is what we say, that because I'm doing the action, then that doesn't mean that my consciousness will be the same as well. No. And other side, when King Janak is there, somebody will see Janak, oh, he's always in opulence. He's there as a king enjoying everything. But that might not be true. That might not be true. Just because he's a king, just because he is doing all his prescribed duties, doesn't mean that he's enjoying all those things. Maybe because he's doing it because as a king, he needs to do those things. Right. So that's what means he's doing it. He's doing action, but action in action. Like he's doing the action, but his mind is with Krishna. So what person is doing, but where the person's mind is with Krishna. And the same thing, somebody who is, and this is what happened actually. I had right. It's 11 now. So just to make the last comment, and then we open for the questions if we have more questions. So I know someone from Vrindavan who is born in Vrindavan, whose parents are Vrindavan, and she's doing Bhagavad Gītā all over the place. And I asked her that who is Krishna? And she said Krishna is the incarnation of the God. She's doing the Bhagavad Gītā. And she came to London as well to do Bhagavad Gītā. And she is not accepting Krishna as the Supreme Lord. She understands that Lord is some impersonal Shakti, energy. And Krishna is the form of that energy. Right? So that's where we can see the person might be doing Bhagavatam all the time, but might not understand, might not be in Krishna consciousness all the time. So this is what we call action in inaction. Like the person is busy doing things, but the consciousness is somewhere else. And the other way around, the person is not doing it, person is sitting down and thinking about Krishna. Like what we say, mansik. Like a lot of time if we are traveling, we cannot do the puja. What we say, close your eyes and you can do the puja. You can imagine you are doing the puja and you will get equal benefit of doing it. Even if you're flying in the plane and it's time for your sandhya, like the evening prayers, you can close your eyes and you can offer to Krishna, like what Krishna says, patram pushpam toyam, phalam toyam. So all of those things, if we have it, great. Even if we don't have it, we can close and we can do mental service to Krishna. So this is how we can understand action and inaction, inaction in action. What we are doing it, what we are thinking, these are two separate things. Hare Krishna. So this is where we complete chapter 5. This is where we have all the topics what we covered. Any question on anything we have done today? Okay. All right. Well, yes, please, Mataji.
It's a lot mentioned, I mean, quite a few times about an intelligent person in the Gita.
Yes.
So that compares to the how intelligent you are, or does it mean that less intelligent person does not get to the Krishna consciousness or can't think like that? Or
Yes, it says as per the Vedic culture and Vedic knowledge, who is intelligent? The one who understands that Krishna is doing it is intelligent.
yes.
So I could be a PhD, but I think I'm doing everything. I'm not intelligent as per the Vedic knowledge. Yes. And so
that equates to the knowledge of the self and Krishna.
that's it. That's it. Yes. It's the spiritual rather than material. And that's what when we will do Jnana, last chapters, we will see Krishna makes it so clear what kind of knowledge is called goodness and what is passion and what is ignorance.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So thank you, everyone. Such a pleasure. Appreciate all your association, and I wish you a happy Diwali to you and all the family members, and look forward to see you next time, next Saturday, 10 a.m. Right? Meanwhile, feel free to ask any question in the group if you like, or if you would like to ask now, I'm still here, feel free. Otherwise, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare